GM. It has been some time for all one of you that's like watching these videos and the consistency. I heard recently that apparently consistently uploading like quantity of content, if you're getting started off with YouTube, is a lot more important. So I guess that's it's going to be happening. So it has been a couple of weeks since I last uploaded, which is probably not going to help that, but here I go. There's not god damn, there's been like a few things change. Everything seems to be changing last time I uploaded something, and now I don't really think that much will be changing, which is an odd place to sort of pick things up from. So I'm going to kind of fill you in. I hope that this it's going to be like pretty much pitch black on that video. So I hope I've got some good War Thunder content to put to the left hand side of this. We'll have to see, won't we? Anyways, yeah, fuck me, that is pitch black. Hang on, this might make me night blind, but there we go. No, I can live with that. So last time I was making a video, I think my last two videos, one was on how to this is how much things have changed. One of these videos was on how to basically get free phones forever, and it was using something that we have with O2 here in the UK called Switch Up, where you can switch your phone every 3 months. I think I made that video, and oh my god, maybe like a week later I get an email from O2 saying, obviously this is not off the back of that thing going viral, because it didn't, obviously, but I get an email from O2 saying, we're going to be changing Switch Up from 3 months to 11 months. Now, I think if you stick to my little strategy that I was talking about in the last video, that's maybe just going to simply mean that your phones are cheap from now on, rather than free, or you're actually making money off of them. By the way, this current phone that I'm using, I'm paying £37 a month for. It's a Galaxy Flip, not a Fold, which is the two-screen one. It's Galaxy Flip Z7, and I'm paying £37 a month for it. The free gift, the laptop that I got with it, I've sold for 150 quid. So this phone is going to make me £39, right? And then I'll switch it again, and then that'll be the last time I can switch it for like 11 months. So I'm just going to have to keep locking in really cheap contracts after that. So I will certainly keep you guys up to date on that, and if I can continue to hack the system, as it were. So it's now November the 21st. I think my last upload has been 4 weeks ago. What happened then? Well, basically, about 2 months ago, I took mushrooms. I alluded to this in one of these videos. I took mushrooms and had a totally life-changing experience. It was really good, and I actually recommend doing mushrooms to you guys. I've read before that like vast majority of people have a good trip, and even out of the people who say that they don't have a good trip, out of like 10% of people who say they have a bad trip, apparently still half of them say it was useful for me. So it's, some tough love from the universe. I had a good trip. I had a really good trip, and I got very close to God. As you might have seen in one of these last videos, I ended it on a very Christian note, and I've really, really found my Roman Catholicism again, which I thoroughly enjoy. I really like being a Roman Catholic, and I'm praying, and it's something that I'm going to encourage my children as well. When that comes along, I will be raising them as Catholics, so I think that this is it's a good thing. So since then, I basically got it into my head that I was going to be quitting the job that I'm working. So this is the thing, I've got this goal. This is the whole reason that I've started this channel. I'm working towards 100 grand within a couple of years' time. Now at the moment, I'm probably, I think the last video I did, I said that I was going to be at like 39. Now my home equity hasn't really changed. That's not really going to change because we're moving house. So my home equity, we've got about 19,725 in home equity. When we move as well, I'll be getting $3,000 back from the refinance, because the house that we're selling, we're going to be getting more than the deposit that we're putting down, so that'll come back to us. So I'll be getting $3,000 from that. Bitcoin is down at the moment, which means that my investments in Bitcoin have dropped. Now, good. I'm not planning on selling Bitcoin for a long fucking time. So whilst it is cheap, whilst I'm picking up the cheapies that you guys are putting down, I'll continue to do that. One thing that I was a little bit annoyed about was quite a bit ago. This is months and months now, but I had 100 ounces of physical silver, and I sold it for 2,500. About £2,500. Put it all into Bitcoin. I think that about a month later, it like more than doubled. Oh well, it's not the end of the world. Sometimes you'll have little things like that, and then if you're an idiot, you hear that, and then you immediately get back into silver and you sell all the Bitcoin that's just dropped, and then no, Bitcoin's dropping, which means it's going to go up. I need to buy the Bitcoin. Like you just have to sometimes go, oh well, missed that one. It's fine. At the end of the day, the Bitcoin is very long term. My net worth, even though I've paid another mortgage payment, I've had another paycheck, I've put another £1,000 into my cash ISA, has probably stayed the same. It's probably around the £40,000 mark at the moment, or thereabouts. So 19, for all intents and purposes, let's just say £20,000 into the house minus £300. And then I've got the money in Bitcoin. That's about $5,500, and then I've got about $13,500 elsewhere, and then I'm going to be getting $3,000 out of the house. So yeah, I'm about that. Very quick maths there is about 40 to 41 ish. So we are getting there, chaps. I think the main thing about this whole video series is that I'll be constantly updating you guys with little bits of life advice throughout the week, which I maybe need to sort of spread out a little bit more. But little pieces of life advice, like throughout the week, once a week, sort of a financial update, and then once a month, here's where I've allocated my funds this month, and just get to that $100,000 bit slowly. This is about get rich slow. So why did I make this video? Well, for a start, basically I had it in my head that I was going to be quitting my job in just basically once we moved house, and I've put that idea to rest now. I was really considering taking just basically quitting my job and working extremely solidly, and hopefully building up a business within about 6 to 12 months that was like a consulting business for car dealerships. I think that would have been, see, there's the potential for that to make me even more money, but the main goal for me is this $100,000 number, and in the future to be a father, to be and to have a sort of semi-self-sufficient farmstead, to be relatively competent in my own in the world in which I work as well. So obviously I want to be a good car salesman and things like that, but my income goals and my goals as as a productive person, whether that's employee or not, are all very far secondary to being a father and having a sort of self-sufficient life. When I say self-sufficient as well, I actually want to have a sort of a bit of a level of competency when it comes to being a bit of a mechanic, for example, or a bit of a plumber. I don't want to be really far down those routes, but I feel like I want to have a 1950s guy level of competency for the things in my own house. I think that's quite a nice idea to have, and I think that's potentially as well that's something to do with your time. That's like a good idea to spend your free time doing. So yeah, you joined me on another drive to the gym this morning. My coach yesterday, he's off to Thailand, a couple of things with his health and things like that. He's a very in shape guy, but unfortunately he's just had a bit of a health thing, so he's taking a break for 3 months. So I'll be saving even more money, I guess. I've gotten to a good position where I am at the moment. I've had the flattest stomach and the best shape that I've been in a very, very long time maybe in my life, so I'm very happy with the gym at the moment. That's cheap as well. It's going to be getting cheaper. So, yeah. I thought it would more, I suppose that's it. It's been a bit of an update video. I thought I was going to quit work, and then I just decided, you know what, where I'm at a good garage. There's fewer staff there. I don't really know if they're going to think about hiring more on as well. Maybe they will, but just in the UK, we've got the budget coming up. We've got just a couple of things that might be a bit of an economic squeeze. It might be better, I think, for them to not be paying like another minimum wage and, you know, having another sales exec on the floor. Better for me, certainly. Fewer people for all the amount of sales to go around. I'm now at the point where I'm starting to get like repeat customers coming back, and I'm really proud of myself with how I'm getting on at work at the moment. So I don't, you know, I'm not going to throw it away because, I think that this influencer told me I could, you know, become a millionaire in 5 years if I absolutely knuckle down and work as hard as I possibly can. I might, you know, at the moment I've probably built up enough money for like 6 months of total expenses. I could potentially put that into, you know, the joint account that I share with my wife, and in 6 months' time not have a business that can stand on its own 2 feet, at which point I have to leave it and go back into work. I'd be very, very upset with myself at that point. So, I think that what's happened is I was very resistant to the idea of staying at work. When I first came up with the idea of I need to quit to get loads more cash, I was kind of obviously that's like quitting and then just becoming resistant to the idea of staying at work. I think that what happened for me, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, is that I refocused on why am I doing all this? And through thick and thin, through every job that I've had since I was probably about 17 or 18, when I was about 15 or 16, I used to listen to a lot of Stefan Molyneux, if you guys are familiar with that name. He is back on YouTube now, actually, to be fair. And I said to myself, you know, I need to think about marriage and a family now, not later. This needs to be on my radar now. And I did, and I'm now married to a woman who's absolutely fantastic, and I've known for 8 years, and we've been married for about 6 months now. So there's no doubt in my mind that she and I are going to have a marriage that lasts forever. And since that sort of point as well, so since I was sort of 17 or 18 career-wise, I actually have never imagined myself as a business owner. I've never really imagined myself with like a certain amount of pay. I've always imagined myself, going back to what I was saying at the start of this video, as a father. I've always imagined myself as being, you know, somewhat self-sufficient, as having a bit of a farmstead, a little bit of mechanical know-how for both, you know, both the cars that I drive and the house that I live in, all that sort of stuff. And I could afford that without my wife working. I couldn't afford that right this very second, but like next couple of years, that's something that we can do. And I think that might be like something that is worth thinking about for yourself if you're watching this video. What is the goal? Because even when I was thinking I'm going to be a millionaire and all that sort of thing, I've never ever ever wanted jet-setting, high-flying, millionaire lifestyle. I've always wanted what I've just described. I've always wanted not a quiet life in that I become a quiet, insular person. I'm quite outgoing, and I certainly would like to be someone who's like on the defensive all the time. But I've never been inclined to be someone who wants to be a jet setter and, you know, an anywhere. I'm a somewhere, not an anywhere. And that, like, some people are somewheres, some people are anywheres. I've got very good friends that are anywheres and others that are somewheres. I think that is ultimately what it is. So rather than stress myself out with thinking about making a business, it being a lot of tough work, which I'm not opposed to, but stress myself out full stop for the approval of people that wouldn't even notice me as well. And when I say that, I mean, you know, the influencers and the people that I feel that maybe I've watched their content and convinced myself that I should pursue this path, i.e. quitting my job and working for myself. They wouldn't even know who I am if I did this, and I failed or succeeded. They still wouldn't know who I am. So who am I doing it for? Well, I'm doing it for me and my family. Well, what do I need, like, for the lifestyle that I want with those guys? I don't need to be a millionaire. I don't need to be close. And in fact, as long as you, when I say you, I mean you, the audience, as long as you maintain a lifestyle that's just not ridiculous, and your spending isn't stupid, like, it's so easy to be a millionaire by the time you're like 40, 50, 60. That's such a generous gap. It's easy to be a millionaire by the time you're 60. Potentially millionaire and retired by the time you're 50. And if you graft and graft and graft and graft, net worth wise, yes, I think that 40 is possible, if you take into account, as I do, your home equity. So I think that that's all doable. Now, at the moment, my time is, I mean, as you can tell, it's quite early. I wake up at 5:30, go to the gym, then go to work. I come home and have an hour in the evening that I get to spend with my wife. Do I really, really want to start making a business on the side, even with the 1 hour that I have in the evenings and the 1 day off that I get each week? No. I don't have much of a life if I do that. It's a little bit of a struggle to do things socially right now, if I'm honest. I would absolutely not have a life if I just throw all my hours on a Sunday, hours on my day off once a week, hours in the evening that I want to spend with my wife, throw it all away. I really, really don't want to do that. And again, it just comes back to this focused mission of, who do I want to be? I want to be a father. I want to have that competency around my own house, and I want to be a good role model to my kids. And that's another point. This is the point that I'm going to finish on. So thank you guys for sort of bearing with me through this ramble. But the point that I need to finish on is, I realised that I was worrying about a load of stuff that I would not want my children to worry about. And maybe that's a good way for you to frame things for yourself. If you're a little bit like me and you've had a quarter-life crisis, and that's the best way I can describe it, and that's a term that I see, used every so often, this kind of feeling of being lost in your 20s and that kind of thing. If you are thinking of children and that kind of thing, are you right now worrying about something that you would tell them not to worry about if they came to you with the problem? Would you for me, I've got 40 grand net worth now, a little bit more. I'm on the way to having, so half of that is liquid, so I can draw on that. I'm on the way to having 100 grand by the time I'm 30, and from there it'll snowball. From there I'll have children. I'm in a job where I'm good at it, and I'm literally just coming up to finishing my second year, and I'm pretty fucking good at it, and I've got a good future there. If my children laid that all down in front of me and then said, oh, but I want to quit because I could get richer faster, maybe, and be a millionaire, not that I would need to spend $1 million, or I want a lifestyle that I need to be a millionaire for, but I just feel like I need to use all that energy. Use that energy on people. Use that energy on your children when they come. Like, right now, use that energy and be as good as your job as you possibly can, whether you're employed or not. But that energy right now needs to go into the research of how to get to that lifestyle. Because if you want something like me, you really need to look into things like peaceful parenting. You really need to look into what self-sufficiency, aquaponics maybe, or raising rabbits for like meat and that sort of thing. If you're a bit of a prepper, like, to be fair, like I am, then those sorts of things should naturally be something you're interested in. I mean, maybe at the moment, like, that's led to an interest in cars, which it has for me, but you just need to think about that lifestyle. And that's what it was for me. I just thought about the lifestyle that I wanted. I imagined myself as my own child coming to me just saying, you know, I'm really, really worried about this. Okay, well, why? And laying it out that way, like, I shouldn't be worried about all this stuff. And if you're watching this, neither should you. You just want to stack for a while. Oh, by the way, possible market crash coming 2026? Maybe. If so, make sure you've got some money to hand. Make sure that you're living cheaply so that you can pick up cheap Bitcoin, cheap stocks when this happens. And just go hell for leather when it happens as well. Really work hard and do take days off when you need them, and assess your life that way. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll go into the gym now. I'll have a fucking great session, because I'm looking good at the moment, and I'm very happy with how I look. I'm very happy with a lot of things that I do. I don't really feel like I need to change an awful lot. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's why a lot of us feel unhappy. We've been convinced that we need to change. Maybe we don't need to, and it's actually for the better that we are. I don't want to say comfortable, but happy. Like, not content, but genuinely happy. If you're genuinely happy, don't think the grass is always greener. For many, many people, if you're employed, just keep working at it. The grass is not always greener. And have a lovely day, guys.